Hello viewers. Today we'll start a topic that is called machines. Now machines are something that we use in our daily lives. As you know, there are certain jobs that will be done in a better way or a more useful and convenient way if you take help of a machine. For example, if you want to, if you want to tighten or loosen a nut, we use a wrench or a spanner rather than doing it by hand. Or if you want to lift a bucket full of water, it is always more easier to lift up a bucket using a rope and a pulley system rather than pulling it up by hand. Or suppose you want to open a bottle, then you can use a bottle opener. Is a machine, a simple machine, a simple device that helps us doing the work in a much easier and more convenient way. So the definition of machine says a machine is a device by which we can either overcome a large resistive force, which is called load, at some point by applying a small force, which is effort, at a convenient point and in a desired direction, or by which we can obtain a gain in speed. So it's a long definition to make things easier for you to understand. Imagine machine as a tool, improvised tool that helps us do things in three different ways. One is a machine will help us to overcome a large weight, which we call load, by applying a comparatively much less or smaller effort. Or a machine can help us to speed up or to increase in speed of operation, or a machine can also help us in changing the direction of the point of application of force. So a machine has to overcome a resistive force which we call load. The definition says the resistive or opposing force to be overcome by a machine is called its load. That means load is something that the machine has to overcome. For example, when you think of a pulley system, in order to lift water from a well using a pulley, rope and pulley, then the bucket carrying water is the load. Similarly, when you are opening a bottle using a bottle opener, then the cork or the lid is the load, and the force that you are applying, that is the effort. So here comes the definition of effort. Effort means the force applied on the machine to overcome the load is called the effort. The force that you are applying to the machine is called effort, and the force that the machine is trying to overcome, that is called the load. So L and E, this is important. You need to remember what is load and what is effort. So there is a relationship between the load and the effort. We call it mechanical advantage. Now mechanical advantage, that is in short MA, is the ratio of load to effort. That is, load upon effort is called mechanical advantage. Obviously you can have three different relationships here. Your mechanical advantage of a machine can be greater than one. What does it mean? It means the load is greater than the effort. In this case, you are applying a small effort and your machine is able to overcome a large amount of load, a large weight. So in this case, we say that the machine is acting as a force multiplier. It is multiplying the applied force. Again, we can have the mechanical advantage less than 1, which means your effort is greater than the load. That means the machine in this case is acting as a speed multiplier. Speed multiplier. Imagine the gear system of a vehicle where the vehicle speed can be controlled or increased or decreased by changing the gear system. So here this second concept is useful, in which a simple machine can be utilized to increase the speed of the machine. We call it speed multiplier. And thirdly, we can say that mechanical advantage can be equal to 1. When is that possible? When both the load and effort are equal to each other. In that case, mechanical advantage is 1. So in this case, the particular machine has neither advantage as far as force multiplier is concerned, nor does it increase the speed. So in this case, the machine is useful to change the point of application of the applied effort. That means the machine changes the direction of effort. So these are the three cases that you need to remember related to the definition of mechanical advantage. When mechanical advantage is greater than 1, machine is a force multiplier. When it is less than 1, the machine is a speed multiplier. And when it is equal to 1, the machine changes the direction of effort. So here comes the third important relationship with machines, that is called the velocity ratio. Now velocity ratio, or VR, is defined as velocity of effort, which is VE, upon velocity of load, that is VL. So this relationship, that is VR is equal to VE upon VL. So this is the initial definition of velocity ratio. We can further simplify this. Let us imagine a machine where the effort and load, they cause the displacement of, let's say, dE and dL. So what is dE? D is the displacement of the effort and dL is the displacement of the load. Now in time t, we can say that when the displacement of the effort is dE, the displacement of the load is dL. Both the displacements are taking place in the same time, that is t. So you can say that VR, velocity ratio, is equal to, we know that previously you have done that AC is equal to V into T. Where we have done before that AC is equal to V into T, where AC is the displacement or distance, V is the velocity, and T is time. So in this case, we can say that V is equal to displacement upon time. So applying this concept, we can say that your VE must be equal to dE, that is displacement of the effort upon time, and your VL must be displacement of the load upon time. So now cancelling both, what do you get? We get VR is equal to dE upon dL, which in language we can say that the velocity ratio is the ratio of the displacement of the effort to displacement of the load. You can you may have this question that why are you trying to convert the original definition, that is VR equal to V upon VL. As you can see, to calculate the velocity of the effort and velocity of load will not be easy, but you can easily calculate the displacement of the effort. How much, in case of a pulley for example, how much you have pulled it down and to what extent the load has gone up or risen up can easily be calculated. So it is better to convert the definition which is given in terms of velocities to something which is in terms of the displacements. So we can say that velocity ratio is the ratio of the displacement of the effort to the displacement of the load. So here again we can have three conditions. We can either have VR is less than 1, or you can have VR is greater than 1, or you can have VR is equal to 1. Now what do they mean? When VR is less than 1, like before, the machine acts as a speed multiplier. Again, when VR is greater than 1, the machine acts as a force multiplier. And when VR is equal to 1, then the machine is used to change the direction of the effort. Same as before, like we did in the case of mechanical advantage. Now in relation to a machine, there are one more set of definitions that you need to know. They're called work input and work output. Now work input means basically a machine does some work to make our work or make the job easier. So what a machine does, some work is done by the machine at the end of the effort. That means work input W in is nothing but the work done by the effort. That means how much work is done by the effort. Remember that this work done is actually the work done by the machine, simple machine. So W in stands for the work input, which is work done by the effort. Then what is work output? Work output is defined as work done on the load. On the load. So these are the meanings of work input and work output. We can find a ratio between this input work and output work. We can find a ratio between this work input and work output, that is the work done by the effort and work done on the load. This ratio between the work output and work input is called the efficiency of the machine. So the definition says efficiency is equal to work output upon work input multiplied by 100%. Actually it's a fraction. In order to change this fraction into percentage, we multiply this by the number 100 in order to convert it into percentage. So this efficiency is actually a measure of the ratio of work output and work input. It is given by the symbol eta. As you can see, this eta can also have three possible values, that is it can be greater than 1, less than 1, or equal to 1. But practically we'll see that this eta is always less than 1. I'll tell you the reason why. Because eta equal to 1 means the efficiency of the machine has got is maximum, that is 100%. But in order to have 100% efficiency, this work output and work input, they both need to be equal, which is not possible. Some work done at the input level will always be wasted as heat energy due to the friction between different moving parts of the machine. So the 100% work input can never be converted to the work output. As a result, this will be a fraction, and when multiplied by 100, it will always be less than 100%. That is, it is always less than unity, and efficiency can never be 100% for an actual machine. So we can say that efficiency, which is a ratio of work output to work input, will be less than 1 for an actual machine. For an actual machine, due to the loss of work as a result of heat energy produced by internal moving parts, the efficiency will be less than 1. Now, what is an actual machine? The actual machine is what we actually come across in our daily lives, where you never get 100% work which is done at the input level converted into output work. That is not possible because of various moving parts that rub against one another, producing heat energy. So the entire input energy can never be converted to the output work, and the efficiency as a result will be less than 1. Compared to this, if you compare an ideal machine, which is of course imaginary, an ideal machine will have efficiency, which is eta, equal to 1. Now, what are the considerations that we have for an ideal machine? Of course, an ideal machine is ideal; it's not real. But if you want to construct an ideal machine, then first thing you have to make sure is that the different moving parts inside the machine should be absolutely without friction. That means if there are wheels, and if there are ropes, if there are strings, if there are gears, there should not be any friction between them. They should be absolutely without friction. They should not have any considerable mass or weight in them. So these are some of the considerations that you need to have for an ideal machine. Of course, in real life that is not possible. So an actual machine will always have efficiency less than 1. Now there is something called principle of a machine. Now what is principle of a machine? This is nothing but, in other words, you can say the law of conservation of energy extended to the idea of machines, which says output energy should always be equal to input energy. A machine does not produce energy. A machine does not produce energy out of nothing. Whatever energy you are applying at the input gets converted to output energy. And of course, this is true for an ideal machine. For an ideal machine, your entire input energy will be converted to output energy. But for a real machine, of course, there will be a slight mismatch. The input and output will not be same, and the deficit that we'll have will get converted to heat energy. That's why you must have noticed that a car, when it has run for quite some time, then the entire the car engine bonnet, if you touch, it will feel hot. Or for example, if you rub your hands together, then you are doing work, after some time your hands become warm, which means that some part of the input energy is getting converted to heat. So if we calculate the heat loss also, and if we calculate the heat loss as well as the input energy together, that should always be equal to the output energy. That is called the principle of machine, which is nothing but the law of conservation of energy. I hope that you study this part well. I'll come again with one more video where I'll describe numerical problems and other different types of questions that you usually come across in this chapter. In the end, there is one question for you to practice. It says, derive a relationship between mechanical advantage, velocity ratio, and efficiency of a machine. Thank you so much for watching the video, and if you are new to my channel, please subscribe, share, and like the video. Thank you so much.